Welcome to the Avaz India demo. This is for the version 8.0. So first, before we head on to the demo, I'm going to share some background information with you about Avaz app. So why the name Avaz? Avaz is a Hindi word that means voice, right? So it is aptly named for an AAC app or augmentative and alternative communication app. So Avaz AAC app is a picture and text-based app, and it has been indigenously created here in India. It is a robust app, so you have access to both pictures and text to do your communication. It is an accessible app, so it is available on both platforms on iOS through App Store and on Android through Play Store. And it is an affordable app. So in the coming slides, I'm going to share with you the information on our pricing options as well. But before that, let's jump into how do you access this new version. So a version 8.0, which is our newest, can be downloaded on the App Store. So you have to look for Avaz AAC app, right? Download it. And then once you've downloaded, you need to choose the language, English, India. So this is on App Store. On Android, our 8.0 version is coming up very soon. So until then, you can access our previous app, and the way to download that is to look for Avaz AAC India. All right. So a little more about the app. We have an Indian accent voice available, and we have culturally relevant Indian vocabulary as well. For example, the names of food, the names of like the festivals that we celebrate here in India. So all of this information, the local language that we need is available. We also have local language vocabularies in a few different languages. So as you can see, it's available in Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, and Marathi. Now, if there is a language other than these ones listed that you would like to add, you can still use the voice recording option for that. Now, talking about the pricing options, even before we jump into pricing options, one thing to note is that we offer a free 14-day trial to check out our app, right? And after that, you have subscription options based on monthly, annual, and lifetime subscription options, right? And our app can be used on iPads, Android tablets, and phone. So that brings us to the end of the background information about the app. Now let's jump into the app itself. So I will screen share and show you the app, and then we can start off the demo there. So let's get started with the demo of Avaz app version 8.0. So once you have downloaded the app, you will have this change language screen. And on the screen, you have to select English India, right? So this is the language that you need to select, and then you can proceed on to the app. So once you've done that, what will open up is this screen, which is the home screen of the new app. Now I'm just going to take you through an orientation of the new app, right? So first, for existing users who have upgraded now to the new version, you might find that the appearance of the app is looking a little bit different, right? So here the folders are all a default white color instead of what it was before, which was a green. And here the background is a dark theme now, which is the default. And then we have this new button called favorites in the navigation bar, which helps us access favorite folders or frequently used folders, right? So we'll talk more about this, but these are the changes that you will see if you are an existing user. Now, in case you have a lower version of this app, then some of the new features you see will not be present. Okay, let's move on to the orientation of the home screen. Now, where the pictures, the words, and the folders are, this is the picture grid. On the side here, this brown rectangle with all different buttons is the navigation bar. On the top, we have menu, which gives access to a number of settings. And then over here, we have the white rectangle, which is the message box. Then we have the expressive tones button, which allows us to access different voices for different feelings. And then we have the keyboard button, which then helps us to access the keyboard.
Keyboard.
All right, so this is the keyboard mode. We'll go back to pictures.
Pictures.
So this is a very quick orientation to the screen, the home screen. Now I'm going to show you how you can build a sentence. So let's say I wanted to say, I like pizza. I will say I
like.
Then I'm going to switch over to keyboard and
keyboard.
say
P-I-Z.
pizza.
Pizza.
Right? So then
Pictures.
I can speak my message by tapping on the message box.
I like pizza.
Right. So this is how you can build a sentence in Avaz. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the buttons that we can see in the message box, right? So you can see all these buttons here. So first, let's talk about speak. Now, speak is the button that allows you to speak the messages that have gone into the message box. So if I press speak,
I like
it
pizza.
spoke out the sentence for me. That is the function of speak. Then we have delete, which helps us delete single words.
Delete.
Then we have clear, which helps us delete the entire message.
Clear.
Right? And then we also had one more button at the end, which was share. I'm going to show you share with an example. So we will go to quick. We will go to wishes. So let's say you wanted to share a wish to someone. It's their birthday.
Happy birthday.
Right? And then we use the share button in the message box to share messages. Now, what the share button allows us to do, it allows us to send messages outside of Avaz app. So if I press the button, then I'm able to then use this to send a message through my messages, right? So we'll see a few more details about this feature when we look through the settings. So that is the share. So those are the buttons in message box.
Home.
Now let's go to the navigation bar buttons. So let's say the first one is go back. Right now it's not highlighted because we're already on the home screen. We have nowhere to go back to. So let's say I go into eat. Now to go back,
snacks.
I can press the go back button, right?
Go
it functions
back.
just as a back button on all of our phones. Now let's say the next button below the go back is home, which is just the button that brings you back into the home screen.
Home.
Right. Then we have the favorites button. The favorites, like I said, gives us access to frequently used folders. By default, now the favorites button is customized to go to quick. So if I press favorites, it goes to quick. Then we have the core words button, which goes to the core words folder.
Core words.
Right. Then we have the up and down button, which helps us navigate to the screen. So go down. And go up. And then we have the search button, which allows us to search for words. So again, we look through all the features. This is just the orientation. And then let's go back
Home.
home. Next, I want to show you the quick folder. So quick is a folder
Quick.
that we have on Avaz to give us quick access to those frequently used sentences or words or phrases that we need for that faster communication, right? So you want to say, all
All
done.
done.
You want to say,
I want to go to the toilet.
so it gives us access to those quick pre-made sentences and phrases. So this is the quick folder. And as you can see here also, you have words and phrases available to do more communication. All right, so that's the orientation to the home screen. We'll
Clear.
clear, we'll go back
Home.
home, and then now we'll start looking at menu. So menu is here on the corner. We'll go into menu, and as you can see, on the top, you have edit words. Edit words we will target in the next section of the video when we learn about customizing. Right now, we will look at, so let's say we do search. We can go to search. Let's say search is the feature that allows us to um, search for a word, whether the word is in Avaz, and also tells us like the location of the word. Where is this word located in the app, right? So let's say I want to search for the word RUN. Okay, is the word available? Yes. So you can see two results here. Now, where is the word available? So it says home, play, action. So this is the path. And then also, if you press the See Path button, it will show you how to get there. So you go to
Play.
play,
Actions.
actions.
Run.
So you found the word. So this feature, the search feature, allows us to search for the word, right? Now, let's go back to menu. Um, now that we are on the screen, let's say I want to print this screen and make a low-tech paper version of this screen, right? So then we can access that by going into tools. So we can go to tools, and there is a function called create an Avaz book. So that just means that you're going to create a low-tech paper version. So we can say create an Avaz book, and then it would make a PDF like this for me, which then I can share either through email to myself or even share directly through the printer, and then get this printed, laminated, and start communicating. So this is a very quick way to get a low-tech version of any of the screens on Avaz. So that's the tools. And then we have support, right? So support helps us to access support services from within the app itself. So as you can see, you have FAQs, which takes us to the website where you can access lots of frequently asked questions about this new version and any other versions that you have questions about, any of the features that you have questions about. Then you have WhatsApp, which takes you to our WhatsApp support person. Then you can, start messaging them and asking them questions, and then contact via email as well. So there's 3 different options for you to access support from within Avaz app. Let's go back. Then on the side here, you can see we have sound, right? So this volume up and volume down helps us to regulate the sound of the Avaz. So you can use that to then make sure that the volume is loud enough as you like. So these are all the different ones except settings. Now we're going into settings and we're going to check out all the features. So let's go into settings. The first one, as you can see, is my account. Now my account gives the information like ID, and it gives information about the length of your subscription plan. So this is that important background information that you need to know. Then we go back. The second setting that we have is themes, right? So let's go into themes. As I was saying earlier in the beginning, the dark theme is the default right now. but you can change it into light, which looks like this, and then outer space, which looks like this. All right. I prefer to have a light theme, so I'm going to choose that for now, right? And then we can go back and talk about the next setting. So the next one is message box. As you can see, let's go into message box. One thing to note about the themes is that once you change it to dark or even to outer space, the contrast that you get, let's look at that again. So the contrast that you get, is useful for those individuals with vision challenges. So for those that need that high contrast, using these dark themes will be helpful. Okay, so now going back to message box. The first setting that we have is to turn on or turn off the message box, right? So there is flexibility with that too. For those users who would not benefit from seeing their message repeated in the message box, you can turn it off. It'll look like this, right? And then once you have it on, again, there are more settings. So you can choose to have pictures. If you look here, you can concentrate on what the settings does. So if I turn that off, it only has the word, as you can see. But if I have it on, then it has pictures and the word. So that allows us to be flexible with that. Then we have share messages. So as I was saying before, I'll talk to you more about sharing a message. So let's go back.
Yeah. Favorite.
So favorite. Wishes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Right? So we had the share. Now the thing with share is now you have customization even with sharing. So either you can share the image, which means that the photo and the text will go, right? Now let's look at sharing that. So let's say I share, I choose messages. So it will share an image like this, which has the symbol and has the text below. And then I'm able to then, type my contact and send it to them. Otherwise, if I go back, settings, message box, share. If I only want to send it as a text, right? Like just as a text message, I can do that too. Then I go to share, messages, and then as you can see, it's just shared the text over here. So that is one of the new features that we have added for share. Let's go back. I like my pictures to go along, so I'm going to keep it at image. Now go back. Now let's go to auto clear message box. So this allows you, after you've spoken your message, to remove all the text from the message box automatically. So if I press auto clear and let's say I've said happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now after my message has spoken, it has automatically cleared the message box for me. So that is auto clear. At the moment, I'm going to leave it off. Okay, so now we saw message box. The next setting that we're going to see is picture grid. So let's go into picture grid. The first one is the grid size or the pictures per screen. So just for the sake of this demo, I have placed the pictures per screen at 40, right? As you can see here, 40. But it is recommended that you start with a pictures per screen, the largest pictures per screen that can be, visually seen by the Avaz user comfortably and accessed through touch also comfortably. So, for example, at the moment, we have increased our pictures per screen to 117. So let's select that, go into core words. I can show you what that looks like, right? And then Let's go back to settings, picture grid. You can even keep it 96, 77. So there's quite a few larger pictures per screen options at the moment. For the sake of this demo, we'll go back to 40. So you can select based on what capacity your user has, but it is recommended to start with the largest. Go back. Next, we have text size. So this is the size of the text that comes below each of the words or the symbols. So by default, it is in medium, but you can change it to small, if you notice here, and then large, right? Depending on, again, the access for the user in terms of visually seeing the text. So if even text is not needed, you can remove it, right? No text, only picture, or if you want only text and no picture, you can set that up as well. So that's what this would look like. All right. So those are the text settings. Then we have text position. Again, by default, it is set below, which means it shows up below the picture or the symbol. You can also change it to above, which means that it will show up above, right? Then we have color coding. That's the next setting. Now, as you can see in color coding, we follow something called the modified Fitzgerald color key. So this is a color key that allows us to divide the words into the categories that they fit into. For example, all these words in yellow are pronouns or people names. All these words in green fit into action words or verbs. Then all these words in blue fit into describing words or adjectives. So like that, this color code helps the users who are visualizing this in their mind segregate them into the categories that they fit into, right? So this is the color code. And at the moment, the color code is for the background of the word, but you can also change this to, you can stop the color coding altogether. It should look like this, right? Or you can have a stripe, which will look like this, right? So there's flexibility around color coding as well. So those were the color coding settings. Let's go back. Next, we have the navigation bar settings, right? So let's go into navigation bar as we saw before, on the, this is the navigation bar on the side with all the buttons. Now there is flexibility to decide which side it can be put in. So we go back. So you can decide to either have it or not. So that's the first button over here, right? You can turn it off, whereas the navigation bar will completely disappear. And if you have it on, depending on the capacity, the motor capacity of the user, you can decide to have it either on the right side, which is the default, otherwise on the left side, which looks like this, right? And then again with the navigation bar buttons itself, again there is a level of customization available, right? So you can decide to have which buttons go into that. So at the moment, the go back button, the home, the favorites, all of these have been selected. We'll just go through the other buttons. So the alert shows up something like this, right? Now this button, once activated, gives a sort of an alert sound or an alarm sound, which helps the Avaz user get the attention of their communication partner. So that's what that is. Then if we go back, then we have the I made a mistake button, which looks like this,
I made a mistake.
right? So it's a button that says mistake, and at the moment the voice output is I made a mistake. But now there are a couple of things that you can customize with this. So I made a mistake. As you can see here, there are some custom settings. So if we go into I made a mistake, you can now decide either to put your own voice in here, saying the sentence of your choice. Otherwise, you can put an audio recording through this button, right? So the voice through here, the audio recording through here. But also you can write and change it completely as to what you wanted to say. So let's say, for example, I wanted to say, oops. I'm going to type in whoops. And then I can listen to it.
Oops.
And then I will give save over here. And then now if I try out the button,
Oops.
it's going to say oops instead. So we have now the capacity to make the output of this button really flexible. There's one more thing that we can customize. So I made a mistake button can be customized, and as I said before, favorites also can be customized. So favorites as a default is set to the quick folder, but we can change that. So let's say a frequently used folder for me is responses and comments. I want to have faster access to that folder on my home screen. So if I go to change folder, I say responses and comments, I select, and then now this is selected, right? So then what happens when I go
Home.
So if I select the favorite button over here,
Favorite.
it goes to responses and comments. And the indication that this was a favorite folder is this same heart symbol is indicated over here next to the folder name, right? So here next to the folder name, there is a heart, which indicates that this is a favorite folder. So the favorites button also can be customized. Let's go back. So those were all the settings under picture settings for appearance. Now we're going to look into picture settings for behavior. So the first one is enlarge word on selection, right? So this is the feature that allows each of the words to zoom in and zoom out, right? So this,
Great.
it zooms in and zoom out. But now we can select the speed with which this happens, normal, slow, and fast, but also we can turn it off. So if I say don't enlarge, then
I like it.
there is no zoom happening. So I'm going to leave it at don't enlarge. Next, we have home screen vocabulary. Under home screen vocabulary, you have root screen, vocabulary, and core words. As a default, now the vocabulary is set to this, which is the vocabulary screen, but you can change it to core words if you need. So again, this is what the home screen vocabulary settings looks like. Then we have auto home. So auto home, it saves a click, and it takes you back to the home screen so that the user can learn how to navigate from the home screen, right? So first, sorry, let's turn that on. So here we have auto home each time, and then we've turned that on right now. So let's say I say, I like it. And after I've said I like it, it immediately brought me back to the home screen, right? So then the user can start navigating and learning how to communicate from back on the home screen. So this feature we will currently turn off. Now, the next feature that we have is the swipe action to navigate. So this is a feature helpful for those with fine motor difficulties. So swiping is the capacity to be able to
Core words.
scroll and move through the different screens, right? Now, if scrolling or swiping is difficult, then you can turn that feature off. And then what would happen is in the navigation bar, you will have to turn on here the next page and the previous page buttons, or the up and down buttons. So for those users who prefer to use a button to get from one screen to the other, so you can use the down and then the up.
Down.
Right? So either scrolling or up and down buttons depending on their fine motor skill capacity. Next, we have grammar settings, right? So under grammar, if we turn the grammar feature on, this allows us to teach the different morphological word variations for our users, right? So if I turn the setting on, then it will start showing me the different word variations for the word, and it allows for different types of word variations as well, right? Now, so let's select a word and then check out the features.
Clear.
So let's say select the
Home.
word want. It shows me
Want.
all of these different variations. So I can select wanted, want,
Wanted.
wants, wanting.
Wants.
So all of the different
Wanting.
tenses, right? Like present tense, past tense, all of the different variations show up for me to select. Now this is for a verb. So for the verb, all of these are available. Now let's say I select the describing word. So describe.
Describe.
So let's say
Size.
select the word big. Then it shows
Big.
me big, bigger, and biggest. So the comparative and the superlative words, if you remember from your English grammar, right? So you're able to select
Bigger.
all
Biggest.
of these for an adjective. Then if your word is a noun,
Home. Eat.
so let's
Breakfast.
say we select sandwich, then you're
Sandwich.
able to see the singular and the plural version, sandwich and
Sandwiches.
So you're able to select all of these different features for grammar once you turn it on. And there's two ways to access the grammar settings. So you can get the predictions as you saw under the message box over here. Otherwise, you can get those grammar variations showing up for you. So you can show it in the picture grid itself by turning on this button. So if I turn that on, and then I click on sandwich, then it shows this plus button here, that when I press that plus button, it shows me the two options, whether I say sandwich or sandwiches, right? So you can access it in two different places. So those were the different picture settings for behavior. Now let's go back. And then, as we saw before, those are all the parts of the menu. The next section that we will move on to is the edit words, where we will learn about more customization and personalization of the Avaz. So now let's get started with the customization part of the demo. For this, we need to go into menu. And then in menu, we go into edit words. Okay, so now in edit first, we're going to try and add a folder. So now to add a word or to add a folder, there's two ways to go about it. Earlier, you would go about selecting add new, and then the location either you had to manually change. Whereas now you can select the location of the word. So as you can see, here there are like plus which means that you can click on the plus and then that's where you can add your word or folder, right? So either you use the add new button here on the top, or you choose the location of the word or the folder that you want using the plus. So let's say if I click on the plus, it will look something like this, right? Otherwise, if I used add new, then this is the screen that would pop up. All right. So I'm going to now add a folder for McDonald's. So I'm going to prepare a folder for when we go into McDonald's and we have to talk about the food there. So we'll go into this screen and here we're going to select folder and then going to type in McDonald's. All right, so this is the picture that has popped up. I'm happy with the way the picture looks. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hit save, right? So you can see now that the folder has shown up over here. When we are not selecting the location, it chooses the location on its own, and this is the location for the folder. So now we can give done. All right. And now we're going to go into this folder.
MC Donald's.
And we're going to add in, okay, so it says MC Donald's. We can go back and change that pronunciation. But we're going to go into here and then add the words to go inside this folder. So add new. This time I'm going to add a single word. And then here I'm going to type the word. Okay, so I want to add the word Mekalu Tiki. It's a burger that you get in McDonald's. This is the word that I have added. This is the word. Then here we come to this whole section which talks about the picture, right? So as we had before, we have show and hide. So if we didn't want the picture, it would look something like this. And then if we click on show, the picture would appear again. Now let's say you're not happy with this picture, you want to choose another one. So you use this change picture button over here under the photo. So we go into change picture, and under change picture, you have three options now. So you have symbols, web, and GIF, right? So let's look at symbols. Because Mekalu Tiki is a very specific word, there is no symbol available. Now we can go into web. We have many options that come up from the Google Images here. And now the way to view them has become a little easier. So it shows you all of the options. Then you can click on this more button at the bottom, and then it will show you more, and you're just able to scroll and see all of the images, right? So I want to pick this one here. I think this is a good representation of the Mekalu Tiki. I'm going to select this. Now, the third option that you have is GIF. So I'm not sure if there will be a GIF available, but we'll just take a look just so that you can see the feature, right? So it will show you all of these GIFs like this. And again, same with the Google Images. You can scroll and see which one is applicable. I will show you a better example for the GIF. At the moment, we'll go back to the picture that we selected from the web. Now, in this picture, as you can see, that word Mekalu Tiki and the symbol McDonald's is given on the top. So I want to crop that out, right? So under this picture, if you can see, there is this pencil symbol. So this is for editing. I can press that, and then it takes me to the edit page where I can edit the picture. So I can just crop it like this and then save. And then now, as you can see, the image has been cropped. All right. Now, under the photo, there are two more symbols. So this one is the camera. So this takes you to the camera of your device, and then you can take a photo and add that if the Macalotiki was in front of you. And then this icon takes you to your device's gallery, where if you had a pre-saved photo, then you could access it from there. Right, so it takes you to your gallery from where you can select. So there are a couple of more ways of adding pictures, right? Now this one I'm happy with, so I will give done here on the top. Now, so the word has been selected, the picture has been selected. Now the next one is we're going to check out the speak as, right? So what is the word going to sound like? So the first button that we have here speaks the message.
MC Aloo Tikki.
Right. So at the moment it says MC Aloo Tikki. So I could change that in a few different ways. I could change that by rectifying the spelling so that it is more relevant to the actual sound. So maybe I say Mac Aloo Tikki.
Mac Aloo Tikki.
So maybe I change it to Aloo.
Mac Aloo Tikki.
Right. So you can shift the spelling of the word with keeping in mind what it sounds like, and then try to change the pronunciation. The second button that you have here is the microphone button, which allows you to record and put your own voice in there, right? So that also is possible. So if you press on that button, it will allow you to record your voice, and then you can use that. The third option over here is you can now upload an audio. So if you have a pre-saved audio as an audio file on your device, you could upload that, and that could be what the word speaks out as, right? So now there's three different options for the word. Next we have, so this was speak as. Next we have the word type, right? The word type helps us to select which category of words it fits into, and it also helps us to determine the correct color code for it to match, right? So we use the drop down here, and then we select things. So this is a noun or the name of an item. So we select things, and we select the middle color at the top. Okay, so let's go back to the color code. Now, as you can see, the word type has changed. You've got shades of color now, which as opposed to single colors that we had before. Now, these shades of colors can be used to group similar items together. So we will go and look at an example of how this can be done. But at the moment, just I think one thing for you to note is that you can use the middle set of colors for the words that are already existing on the Avaz. Okay, so word type has been selected. Now everything on this screen is ready to go. Now one thing to note on the top is you have two sets of settings. You have basic and you have advanced. So basic has been completed. Now let's go to advanced. So what are the settings we have in advanced? So we have word form on the side. Now that is the word type, which has already been selected, and then the word form. The word form helps us to have the different, grammatical categories that we saw when we turn on the grammar settings. So when we turn on the grammar settings, you have predictive words for like nouns, verbs, and then adjectives. So if there is a word that we want to add in, you can add it here and then have the word form be displayed. So I'll show you another example of this. Next, we have the sound, right? So the sound is the speak as, which we already determined in the previous setting. And then we have actions. Now this is new. Under actions, again, we have two new settings. So we have adding a YouTube video, and then we have one more called jump to page. So these two, again, we will go into much more detail but these are two new features that we have added on this screen. So right now we are not choosing it. We will give save. And as you can see, our Mekalutiki word has been added. That is how you add a single word. Now I'm going to go in and add a few more words. So we'll go to add new. And this time we will select many words at once. And then just type in, what are the other possible words maybe that we will need when going to McDonald's. So we had Mekalutiki. I'm going to write Coke, Pepsi, chicken nuggets, French fries, burgers. So one thing to note over here is you can keep adding an endless list of words. You just need to separate them by a comma. So this feature allows you to add many words at once and saves you the time of adding them one at a time. And then after that, I want to add small, medium, large, which are the sizes I will need, right? When we want to talk about which size of burger and which size of drink we want. All right. Right, so in one go, I have all of my words added. So this is what that looks like. Now, let's say, for example, you can see that some of the words are in a different colored background than some others. So sometimes when you add a new word, if Avaz can detect it automatically, it puts the color background on its own. If it cannot, then you are able to go back in and change it using the change button. Let me show you the change button. So we'll select chicken nuggets, and once you select or tap on it, you'll see the change button over here on the top, which you can then use to then go back and quickly change the color code, right? So that's how you might change the color code if you notice that it is not matching and if it is not in line with the category it needs to fit into, right? So this is how you add multiple words at once. And now we have our folder ready to go. All right. So I said that I would show you a couple of more features. Now about the word form. So let's say we select the word burger. Let's go into change. And if you notice, the word form was in advanced, right? So this is what we mean by the word form. So you can see that it says burger, burgers, plural, and then burger apostrophe as well. So the possessive. So these are the word forms that we need to make sure that if it is not already showing up, we can add our own such that when the grammar button is turned on, we have the capacity to use the word burger, but also the plural form when you want to say, I want 2 burgers, right? So that also is available over here. So this is the word forms. Let's save. Okay. Now, the next thing that I would like to show you is, so I said that I would show you the GIF feature, right? So for that, we're going to go into the taste folder. So we'll go into home, eat, taste, and let's say I want to talk about, oh, the burgers that we're eating are really yummy, right?
Yummy.
Now, for this, what I would like is, instead of this picture for yummy, I'm going to add a GIF. So select, change, and then we'll go to change picture over here. And then we go into GIF. Right, so let's say I like this one. I'm going to select this. Now, once we select the GIF that we like, the next flexible option for us is to decide how many times we want the GIF to loop. So GIFs, as you know, are like those repeated loops of this content. So you can decide whether you want it to go for 3 loops or 2 loops. I think for now, 2 is enough. I'm going to reduce that and then give save. So what that might look like.
Yummy.
So it looped twice and then it went back, it closed. So how the GIF feature works is if you click on it, it will open up this pop-up, play the GIF for how many ever loops you have selected, and then it will close on its own. Let's look at it once more.
Yummy.
Right. So that is how you can add the GIF to any word that you like on the Avaz. The next feature that I said that I would show you is the color coding. So this is a folder that I
Home.
have prepared already just for the sake of the demo to show you the color coding.
Feel.
So if you can notice, I have tried to group all the happy words together with the dark blue for the happy and the lighter blue for the other similar words, excited, laughing, funny, silly. So this is how you can use the shades of the color code. And I've done the same for sad, right? So you have sad, upset, depressed, lonely, crying. So this is how, like when you go into word type and you select the different shades, this could be an example of how you might use the shades to set that up. All right, so we've looked at GIF, we've looked at color coding. Now the next thing that I would like to show you is
Home.
when we go back into our McDonald's folder.
MC Donald's. Clear.
Okay, so here, let's say I wanted to add the taste folder into here rather than having to go navigate all the way into taste, which is inside eat. I wanted to have the folder here itself, but I want to save copying it multiple times. So for this, we've added a new feature called linked folders, right? So linked folder is something that shows up when you go onto the edit screen. So I'll just take you back there, add new. So we go to add new on the top. And then as you can see, you can add a link an existing folder. So let's say I want to link the taste here, right? Because as I'm eating at McDonald's, I want to talk about taste. That's quite a relevant topic for me when I'm at a restaurant. So if I type the folder that I want to add here or I want to link here, then I can type the folder name and it shows up. So I select, then I give done. Then what happens is the folder gets linked here for me. And how do we figure out that this is a linked folder? As you can see here in the top left corner of the folder, you have a link or a paperclip linking symbol that sort of signifies that this is a link folder. All right. So this is where this is a link folder. Now you will notice the placement of this link folder, right? So it got placed in a very specific location. Now the reason for this is whenever link folders are added, it tries to maintain the location of the original folder. So the original taste folder, so if you can remember this location,
Home.
the original
Eat.
taste folder is in the same location there. So it tries to maintain that location so that as you even shift from folders, the motor planning is not affected, right? So we've added
Home. MC
we've
Donald's.
added the taste folder over here into McDonald's. So we can just open
Taste.
this and talk really quickly about taste, right? And
Go back.
one more thing to note about linked folders is if you make any changes to the original folder, the changes get automatically synced into the linked folder as well, right? So as you
Taste.
can see, the GIF that we added in the original has been added here as well.
Go back.
So this is how you can add a linked folder. Now let's add one more folder, right? So let's say I want to add a numbers folder because I want to talk about how many burgers I want or how many cans of Coke or Pepsi I want. So I can do the same and link the numbers folder. So we go into menu, edit, add new, link an existing folder. Then this time I'm going to type numbers. Right, then select. And now as you can see, the numbers folder has also been linked. Okay, so now
Numbers.
We have numbers also available for us to have conversations about the quantity of the items we need to tell. All right, so that was the McDonald's folder, and that was how to do some customization within the add new section.
Go back.
Now we're going to move on from McDonald's, and we're going to move on to two of the features that we saw on the advanced section. The first one is we're going to upload an audio.
Home.
So for this, I'm going to go into categories,
Categories.
animals and birds,
Animals and birds.
animal sounds.
Animal sounds.
So let's say for dog barks, you want to upload an actual audio of a dog bark, right? So we'll go into menu, edit, select dog barks, change, and then here, if you remember, we're going to use the upload audio. So I have a pre-saved audio of a dog bark. I'm going to select that, and then I can play it. Okay, so this is how you can add. Let's say when I tap on the word dog barks, it now plays the new audio that I've selected for this word. So this is one of the new features. The second new feature was jump to page. So this is a feature that we are going to talk about using the quick folder. So we'll go to
favorite.
Okay.
Home.
Let's go to quick. Let's go to starter phrases.
Starter phrases.
And I want to talk about
please phone.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this word please phone. Now, when I say please phone, the next thing that I want to say is the name of a family member, right? So in order to reduce the number of taps or the number of, navigation steps that I will have to do to go all the way back into people folder, go into family and say a family member's name. Instead of doing that, now we can just add the new feature called jump to page. That way, when I click please phone, the next page that it will take me to is directly into family. So let's see how we can set that up. So we'll go into menu, edit. We will select please phone, change. And now we're going to go to advanced settings and then go down to actions. Under actions, select jump to page, right? And then we said that we wanted to link the family folder. So we will type that over here. Okay, so I've typed family, this has shown up, and I give done. And then save. So if you notice, at the left top corner of this word please phone, there is this curved arrow that shows up. This is the indication that this word has been activated with the jump to page feature, right? So now, if I click on please phone, as soon as I clicked on it, it has jumped to the family folder. So that now I can say, please phone
mother,
please phone my mother, or please phone my father, right? So this is the jump to page feature. Now we're going to move on to the second action. For that,
home,
I'm going to go into the actions folder.
Actions. More actions. Clear.
Okay, so let's go into menu, edit, add new. This time I'm going to add a new word so that I can show you this new function. We're going to go into advanced. Sorry, just before that we need to type the word in. Okay, so I'm going to add a YouTube video for the word cleanup. So I'm going to choose a YouTube video, specifically a Cocomelon song from YouTube, so that it would play the YouTube video for me when I say the word cleanup. So I've typed that in. And now I go into advanced. Okay. I've selected the word type as phrases. And now to go to YouTube, we have to go to actions. And then under actions, we have to choose YouTube video, right? Now there's two ways of adding the video. If you already had the link of the video saved, you could just copy paste it inside this box. Otherwise, you can just do a search. So I'm just going to do the search. And once I hit the search button after typing the name of the song, it will take me to this page where it shows me all the results from YouTube, right? All the search results. So again, here I'm able to scroll and see which is the one that I want. My video that I need for this is right here. So I'm going to select the Cocomelon cleanup song, and then I give save. And then it comes onto this screen and the video starts playing, right? And once the video starts playing, you can decide the time duration that you need to select for this video. So it's just taking a bit of time to start playing. Please bear with me. I'm just going to pause it so I can talk you through some of the buttons around this. So as you can see here, there is a set start button. So when you press the set start button, that's when the duration of the YouTube clip that you want gets selected. And then once you're happy with the clip that you've selected, you can press the set end button to stop that duration, right? So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to watch the video and set a start and end time.
Over here and over there, up and down and everywhere. There's cars and trucks and boats and trains and buses and a model plane. Clean up, we all have fun today. Now it's time to clean up and put everything.
So I've set that as my start time. So this next portion of the video is the one that I want.
Clean up, we all have fun today. Now it's time to clean up and put everything away.
So I've set an end time. I press the set end time button and now I've selected the clip that I want. So now you can preview the clip that you've selected using the preview button.
Clean up, we all have fun today. Now it's time to clean up and put everything away.
Okay, so that's perfect. That's the exact clip that I wanted. Now, when you're happy with what you've selected, you can give save. And then the word shows up like this, right? So the indication that this word has the YouTube video feature on it is this YouTube button in the left top corner. Now I'm going to play this for you. So if I click on the button, it will open up a pop-up window and start playing the video for me.
Clean up, we all have fun today. Now it's time to clean up and put everything away.
Okay, so it will open up the pop-up window, play the video that you selected, and then close on its own. But if you noticed when the video was playing, there was an X or a close button if you wanted to close it earlier than you need, right? So this is how the YouTube button works. This feature works on the internet, so you need the internet available on your device in order to play this video. All right, so that was the YouTube feature. Now let's go back into the edit. I would like to show you a couple of other buttons. Menu, edit words. Okay, so now when we select a word, we saw that we have the change feature, right? Then we have select all, which allows us to select everything on the screen. Then next to that, we have copy. So let's say we copied this word and then decided to paste it.
Go back.
You know, you want faster access to it, so you want it on the main action screen itself. So you give paste. What happens now with the copy and paste is it gets pasted into the same location as the original word. Again, this feature is intended so that it retains the motor plan and there's no change in location from the original word, right? So let's go back into more actions, select cleanup. That was the copy and paste. And as before, we have hide. So that allows you to hide the word. And then you can go back in, select and show the word as well, right? So that is the hide and show feature. Then we have delete. Next to that, we have delete. So now with delete, we have two new buttons. So we have delete here, which means that this word gets deleted only on the screen. Then we have delete across grid sizes, which means that this word gets deleted no matter what grid size you change into, right? So there's two options. So let's say I say delete here, but this was not the action that I intended to do. Now we have the undo button to save you from any accidental mistakes. So just press undo and then the word is shown up again, right? So these were some of the other buttons that I wanted to show you on the edit screen. Now let's look at, that brings us to the end of the editing features. Now let's look at some folder options, right? So even with each
Clear.
folder that we have on the Avaz, there are a set of features that that can be customized inside that. So let's say that we go into
Home.
feelings.
Feel.
Okay. So now for the feelings folder, I want the pictures or the symbols of each of the words to be bigger in size so that I can really see the facial expressions. So maybe for this folder alone, I would like the pictures per screen to be a little bit smaller. So I could go into menu, edit, and now we go into folder options, right? And then under folder options, I select pictures per screen. And I want to put that to 15. Okay, so I've selected 15 pictures per screen for feelings. Then if you say done, you can see that this has made all of the pictures bigger and this folder is come down to 15 pictures, but the rest
Home.
of the Avaz continues to remain in 40 pictures per screen, right? So this is one of the customizations we can do for pictures per screen. The next one is we can change the folder arrangement.
Eat.
Let's go into snacks folder
Snacks.
for this, right? So at the moment, this folder is in a default arrangement, right? So you have biscuit, cake, noodles, pizza, pasta, burger. This is how the arrangement is. Now let's say you wanted to change the arrangement. So your Avaz user prefers a more alphabetical arrangement of folders. So we have the default arrangement, which it already is in. You can change it to alphabetical order. I'll select alphabetical, go back, and if you can see, now all the B's are together, then we have the C's, and then pizza has gone all the way down here, right? So for those users who need a more alphabetical organization, this can be set up. The next thing that I would like to show you is backup. All right. So let's say I wanted to send this folder across. I would go into folder options. Then, as you can see here at the bottom, there is export. I would select export. Okay. Just right. So this is the snacks folder that I have saved and I'm ready to share or export it to someone. One thing to note at this point is that the folders earlier were .avc files, but now as you can see, they have changed to become .avrc files. So when you're sending folders across, just to watch out for the folder names in this way, right? So this is how you can share a backup. And there's a few more settings over here. Can browse the folder backups. So that will help you see what are the other folder backups that are available from which either you can add. Please ignore this message. Yeah, from there you can add or even you can share, right? So let's say if I click on one of the folder backups, there is a couple of options. You can append it, you can share it to someone, you can delete it, right? So append is to add it over here. All right. And then the third option over here is the import from file browser. So let's say somebody has sent you a folder, you have added it to your device, then you can go and access that using the import option. So we click on that, then it takes you to your device files. From where you can select one of the folder backups and then add that to your screen, right? So there's a few options over here for import and export. Okay, so the last feature on the folder options that I want to discuss with you is this feature called Autoback. So for this, I'm going to think of a sentence that I want to convey. So let's say I want to convey, I want two t-shirts, right? So this is a sentence that I want to say about specifying the quantity. Now for that, I'm going to go into this numbers folder, go into folder options and set up the numbers folder on Autoback. So I'm going to turn the Autoback on here. If you see Autoback. Okay, so the Autoback has been turned on, which means that once this folder is opened and a message is spoken on this folder, it automatically goes back to the previous screen. So it saves one extra click or one extra tap on the go back button that you might need to do for that. So I have turned on Autoback for this folder. Now let's go try to build the sentence.
Home.
So I want to say I want, and then
numbers.
I want two. And if you noticed, as soon as I said 2, because I have put the Autoback on, it automatically came back to this folder.
Dress. Clothes.
And I can say
t-shirt.
Right, I want 2 t-shirts. So that is the Autoback feature that can be turned on to save navigation. All right, so that brings us to the end of folder settings. Okay, so next we're going to look through the keyboard settings. So under keyboard settings, the first one that we have is layout. Now, before we check out the layout, let's go into keyboard mode.
Keyboard.
So at the moment, the layout is a QWERTY layout, right? As you can see, but then you're able to then change it to have an ABC layout as well. So it starts with ABC. And then we now have the capacity to turn on highlight vowels, which then highlights the vowels in this blue color, right? So these can be useful when you have to start teaching like consonant vowel combinations. Having the vowels highlighted will be helpful. Let's go back. The next setting that we have is prediction. So prediction can be turned on and can be turned off. Once turned on, you have quite a few different actions to do with prediction. So first you can predict with the pictures, which means that the picture and the text will show up. So as you can see, this is the message box. Under the message box, you have this rectangle which shows the predictive words, right? Then if you press this arrow, it shows what more words can be predicted as well. So this is where all of the prediction will show up. If you don't want pictures, you can turn that feature off. And then as you can see, it only predicts the text. The next one is, what is it going to predict? Again, there are three sets there. So it can predict the next word, like if you're building a sentence, it can predict what's going to come next. It can predict the current word, like if you're writing half of the word, then it will predict the next half based on what you are trying to write. And then phonetic match, it predicts based on like a phonetic spelling as well, right? So let's look at each of these. So let's say I want to write this sentence. Let me first change it. Okay, so let's say I want to write a sentence. This.
T-H-I.
So I've typed just THI. So for my current word, it is predicting that maybe I want to say this. So I want to select this. I'm going to select that. And then for the next word prediction, it thinks that I'm going to say this is, right? So yes, I'm going to say this is. I'm going to say this is a. B-I. Again, it's selecting big. I want to say big.
Big.
And then I'm not sure about the spelling for ocean. So I'm going to try spelling it how it sounds or how phonetically it might be spelled. So I'm going to spell it as O-S-H-E-N. I think that this is the spelling of ocean. But still, since the phonetic match prediction is on, it has predicted ocean for me.
Ocean.
So, right?
This is a big ocean.
So this is how all of the features of prediction work. The next setting that we have is, so enlarge keys on selection, which is the zoom. So as we saw in the zoom for the pictures, zooming in and zooming out of the words, helps engage the user. It, for those who need that extra processing time and need that extra visual support, it is highly useful and helpful for them, but it can be turned off. So the same with this as well. The enlarge or the zoom can be turned off. At the moment, it is turned off, but if you want to turn it on, it might look like this.
Clear. H-I.
Hi.
Hi.
Right? So the zoom can be turned. For those users who don't need it anymore, you can turn it off. All right. So those were the three settings under keyboard. Now there's a few more things to note about the keyboard mode. So as we said before, this is the prediction tab. Now below that you have the all of the keyboard and the letters buttons. Now under that you have here on the side the alarm or the alert button as we did in pictures. Right, then we have the 1, 2, 3 which takes you to numbers. And then we have something called favorites, right? So let's talk more about favorites. So favorites, similar to the favorites in the picture grid, just allows us easy access to frequently used phrases.
Favorites.
And it is organized in folders such as this. So under About Me, it has these sentence starters, which can be, of course, edited. So you could put the personal information about the user, and then it has I need help, greetings, comments, and again, these folders also can be edited and organized, and then the words under it also can be edited. So it just allows easier access, and then because they are organized into folders, it helps with easy location of those phrases as well. So let's try to
Keyboard.
add a sentence
Clear.
to the favorites. So let's say I want to say
Shift. I.
I,
A.
oops, sorry. So I'm going to use the backspace.
Delete. A. Delete. I. A. M.
I am
T. I. R. E.
tired.
Tired. Shift.
I
N. E.
need
Need.
a
A.
break.
B. Break. I'm tired. I need a
So I
break.
want this sentence to be saved into my favorites. So I go to the save button,
Save.
and then I want to go into it. I want it to be saved in I need help. Right. So as you can see, it has been added here. So
Clear.
let's say
Keyboard.
I want quick access to the sentence. I'm tired. I need a break. I'll go to favorites.
Favorites. I'm tired. I need a
So
break.
it will say that sentence, right? So this is how you use the favorites.
Keyboard.
All right. So those were some more features about the keyboard mode. Now let's go back. Next, we have the backup and restore settings. So this is quite an important feature because we always need to make sure that we've backed up our Avaz and we have a copy of all the vocabulary that we have customized safely stored, such that if anything happens to the device, you can always retrieve all of the vocabulary, right? So at the moment, since our previous version, backups happen automatically, but you need to set up a few more things. So it's not just enough for the automatic backup. You need to then sync it or link it to a cloud storage like the Dropbox or a Google Drive, so that the backups are getting stored somewhere safely, right? If you don't do that, the backup is only getting stored in your tablet. And then if something happens to the tablet, you won't be able to retrieve it. So make sure you are linking this to the Dropbox or Google Drive so that you can always access it from there. Now the auto backups is on. You can select the time duration with which the backups happen, either 7 days or 15 days. Then the backups are going to get stored here, right? Now, if you wanted to create a backup then and there, so you can do it using the create new backup buttons. Then you say that, then creates a backup, right? And then this is the file that shows up here. Okay, so these are how you can create a backup. And then the import feature, the import from file browser feature allows you to add a backup. Like let's say somebody has sent you a backup file through email, then you can access that by importing it from here. So these are some of the backup and restore settings. So let's say you wanted to share this backup, or you wanted to replace this backup file, and then you can even delete. So these are some of the options available. If you're going to share, one thing, yes. So there's just a couple of different options available for either accessing the backup or otherwise sending it or exporting it outside. So those are the backup and restore settings. Now the next one that we have is accessibility. So accessibility allows for some accommodations for those users with fine motor difficulties. So we've called those touch accommodations. So first let's turn that on. And then as you can see, there's a few different features. So for those users whose touch is not reliable, like either that multiple fingers are accessing the screen at the same time, or fingers are moving across the screen unintentionally. For those users, then these settings can be helpful. So the whole duration, this allows that, when the finger rests on a particular spot for a specified amount of time, which again you can select over here, then only will that be recorded as a selection, right? So at the moment, it's 0.3 seconds, means that if I press this for 0.3 seconds,
I
and
don't
that's only
remember.
when that word will be activated. So if I press it for shorter than 0.3 seconds, it won't get activated. The second one that we have is ignore repeat, right? So for those users who have continuous repeated touches, those can be ignored again for a duration, a specified duration. Now, so until I tap for that much time, until that duration, the repeats that I've pressed continuously will be ignored, right? So then, so that is the whole duration and ignore repeat. And then you can decide when that happens based on like the first finger down, which means that as the first finger is placed, then at that time, these settings will be activated, or when the last finger is turned up. So when the last finger is removed off the screen, then the settings will be activated. So that also can be customized. And then finally, you have the border color, the thickness, and the radius, which can be just used for highlighting. So either you can change the color, you can change the thickness of it, depending on how much highlight you need, and then the radius also can be changed. So these are some of the accommodations that are available for those with fine motor concerns. So at the moment, we will turn them off.
Pictures.
After keyboard settings, we have voice that comes up next. So voice settings helps us to, customize the voice of the Avaz to the appropriate gender and appropriate age of the Avaz user, right? So all voices may not be available in all languages, but, the pitch can be altered to suit the voice according to the age. So let's find out that. So voice at the moment, we have some default voices which you can access, right? So you have, let's say we select this voice, Rishi.
This is my voice, hope you like it.
This is what that sounds like, but of course you can change the speed.
This is my voice, hope you like it. This is my voice, hope you like it.
And then you can change the pitch.
This is my voice, hope you like it.
Right? So there is some customization that you can do for the voice. And then we have some premium voices as well available. So this is the Priya female voice, which I have selected. Now, beyond the voices for the Avaz, as we said right at the beginning, we have something called expressive voices or expressive tones, right? So this is a feature. At the moment, the voice is only an American voice or a United States voice. So as you can see, Sarah has been selected. So for this, first you have to turn on this feature if it is not already on. And then once you've turned it on, you go into expressive voices, and As you can see, there's lots of different options to select based on gender and age. And what this feature does is it allows you to speak with different emotions. Sorry. So that's clear.
Clear.
So if I press this tone button, these are the different emotions that show up. So I can speak with an angry voice, excited question, all of these are available. Let me show you some examples. So
Favorite.
let's say I want to say,
I don't like it.
right? Now, if I wanted to say this with an angry voice, I'll go into tone, select angry.
I don't
As you
like
can
it.
see, it's completely transformed the voice and made it an angry voice. So you can hear it in the voice itself. Now, let's say
Clear.
I want to show that I'm really excited.
I love
So it's
it.
saying it in an excited voice.
Clear.
I won't go through all of the voices. Please do, after the demo, sit and explore all of them. I'll just show you a couple of them so that you can get a sense of how this feature works. Let's try a sad voice.
Oh no.
So it's really expressing that that sadness, right? That feeling of feeling upset. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the expressive voices feature. We want all of our users to be able to, communicate that lovely intonation in their voice, that expression in their voice. So this can be useful for that. We have the next one as general settings. So the general settings helps us to set up a password. The password option is available for the settings, to access settings and to access edit. So this can be set up so that there is no accidental changes or deletion of any of the customization that has been done or any of the settings that have been set up, right? So to prevent that from happening, you can set up a password and then use that to access those two features. That is the password. And then finally, we have languages, which is what we saw at the beginning, where you can change the language. At the moment, we have selected English India. All right, so those were all the settings. There is one more setting that I would like to show you that you can set up within your iPad so that you can access a different language keyboard within Avaz. So for that, we need to go into your device settings. So go into settings. Under settings, we're going into keyboard. So if you either search for it or if you go into the keyboard section of the settings, then we go into the different types of keyboard. As you can see, there's quite a few language keyboards already here. So let's say I want to add a new keyboard. So I'll go to the bottom here. And then this box shows up, and then here again you can search. So I want to select Hindi, and under Hindi, Devanagari, then give done, right? So now Hindi is another keyboard that has been added. We go back to Avaz app. Now to type the word in, as you can see, we have the English keyboard. But if you click on this globe symbol over here, you can change the language and access the Hindi keyboard that we just added. Right? So this is the Hindi keyboard. So let's say I want to type the word kela, which is banana. So I will type right. So I have used the Hindi keyboard to type the word over here. We can go in right? So this is another feature that you can use in case you wanted to access another language keyboard in here as well. So this is the last bit of information I wanted to share with you. This is the support information. So there's quite a few new features that we've introduced. So if you ever get stuck or you need some help to understand them better, please reach out to us. There's a few different ways to access support. You can go to our website, avazapp.com. You can access our FAQs. So from our website, you go into support, access the frequently asked questions, and we've got some questions already listed there for this new version. You can go to our YouTube playlist, which will give you specific videos to understand some of these functions. You can access us through email. If you wanted to chat to us directly for sales, you can contact Mr. Ramchandran. And for support, you can contact Mr. Asif through those phone numbers on the screen. So that brings us to the end of this demo.